Hey, what's up? It is Thursday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. But, per usual, I am here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WWE Creative _ish, former WWE writer. Robert, what a Thursday. Is it rainy down in Florida right now?
No, it's 85 and sunny. It is hot. And if you are a sports fan, this is one of the greatest days of the year. It's March Madness. I've literally got it on the TV to my left. Very excited about this. Got my bracket, my sheet of integrity up.
Ooh.
And if you don't know who I picked this year, then clearly you have not paid attention to any of my podcasts over the last 5 years.
You picked Auburn, right?
You shut your dirty mouth.
Listen, I did you a favor, actually, and did not pick Florida because I didn't want to curse them.
Damn it, Dom. Yeah. Look, every year I wind up picking the Florida Gators, no matter what seed they are in the tournament. Sometimes I'll just write them in, even if they're not in the tournament. I'll use Vince Russo style booking, where, bro, they're not even in the tournament, but they won. It's crazy. No, this is the Gators year. Let's get it going. As I'm excited to watch a little Creighton and Louisville.
Ooh, all
Yeah.
right. Well, speaking of,
I was in the middle of wrapping this up, and you stepped all over it. The great thing about the NCAA tournament is you wind up rooting for teams you don't normally care about. And if there's one thing I know about not caring about, it's tournaments, Dom.
yes,
Yeah, I was getting you there.
Dang, you did. You were getting me there.
Trust. It's back and forth, and I trust we got some folks that we need to say hi to the old chat machine.
Michael Partham says AEW is back. I see what you did there. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Very clever. Jeff Henninger says Moxley and Cope go to the point last night. Some would say they nailed it. Oh, all Jake takes on Moxley needs to shave his back. Dre Owen says, hello, R&I. That title match had clown car levels of interference. And yes, Robert, Saved by the Bell was better than Family Matters.
That is what I'm talking about. Dre Owens is right. That is a reference to this week's episode of Working Stiff, where Mike Lawrence and Scott Chaplin erroneously tried to claim that Family Matters was a better show than Saved by the Bell.
I can't weigh in on that because I have only seen a couple episodes of Family Matters. And
what the hell were you doing? I guess you're younger than
I
me.
watched Parker Lewis Can't Lose and American Gladiators.
American Gladiators, one of the great contestants of all time on that was Rico.
That's right. That's right. I remember him being.
I was a big Rico fan when he was on American Gladiators. He was great. Dynamite was on last. I was almost gonna say great, but Dynamite was on last night. There was a blizzard because whenever AEW comes to town, there's nothing colder than AEW programming.
Well, I gotta say that opening match was hot. The crowd was hot for that match, and I liked the opening match quite a bit, Robert.
Yeah,
and the outcome itself too. I thought it was little sports entertainment but that's okay with me. I think in this.
Dom, let's pretend we're doing a broadcast show here, and people didn't necessarily see the match last night. You want to fill them in on what that opening match was?
Yeah, let's do that. It was the Eliminator Tournament Finals with 4 people. It was Speedball Mike Bailey. It was Ricochet. It was Mark Davis, and it was Orange Cassidy. Ended up being that Mike Bailey and Ricochet won the match after a double team pin on Mark Davis. And Bryce Remsburg made the final rule that both these guys will be facing Kenny Omega at Dynasty, Robert. Yeah, what did you think of this match and the outcome of it all?
So I was a little perplexed when they announced this was a 4-way because in my mind, I'm going, this has to be Ricochet winning because Ricochet Kenny Omega makes the most sense for the pay-per-view. But it's very tough to debut a guy like Mike Bailey and then beat him in his second match. Yes. So they did find a creative way. We're going to get this triple threat at the next pay-per-view, which probably takes a little bit of the pressure off of Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. You know, I know that he's back from the diverticulitis and he's had some great. The Gabe Kidd match was obviously great. His Takeshita match was great. But you do have to wonder a little bit about his overall physical conditioning. So having a triple threat match is going to take a little bit of the pressure off of Kenny Omega to go out there and have a barn burner with Ricochet. You can still get to that as a singles match at some point down the road. It's a great way to put Speedball Mike Bailey on a pay-per-view where he's going to have a great match. This all makes sense to me.
Yeah, it also protected Mark Davis in a lot of ways, who I think was a big highlight of the match. Like just him being the biggest guy in there and power bombing the daylights out of everybody, and then taking two people to get the pinfall win on him, because Mike Bailey, it was not confirmed that he was going to win that match either way, that pinfall either way, and so I liked what they did there too. So
I like the match. I love that Don Callis still is trying to make sense of the Mark Davis story.
Yeah.
Well, he was reluctant to join the team, but now he's joined the team, kind of. But man, he's big.
Well, did this next match make sense to you, the outcome? We had Mercedes Moné taking on a challenger and Billy Starks for the TBS Championship. Billy Starks, we have not seen a whole lot of her. She's been in Collision Purgatory, ROH Purgatory maybe. And here she is. She put on a heck of a match, I think. But she tapped out, got the loss, and Mercedes Moné retains the TBS Championship. What do you think of this here, Robert?
Yeah, this seems to be the story that they are trying to tell with Mercedes Moné, that she has these great matches with opponents who you think that they're going to potentially win. It's like the old Ric Flair traveling town to town and taking on your local hero. You think your local hero is going to win, and at the last second, she somehow survives. We saw it with Harley Cameron. We saw it with Momo on the pay-per-view. Billy Starks looked great in this match. It was a great competitive match. It was a good showcase for her. And I was intrigued and hopeful after years of trying to manifest this and make it happen when they started talking about, whoever trained Billy Starks clearly didn't know what she was doing. We know that's Athena. And we know that she is probably one of the best women they have on their roster. And she has been banished to that Ring of Honor, ninth circle of hell for 2 years. Use her on television. That may be where this is going. And if we get Mercedes versus Athena, this will all be worth it.
Yeah, I didn't even really consider that. I thought maybe Billy Starks would be the next in line to maybe upset Mercedes, not necessarily in this match. Maybe they would tell a further story of it. But yeah, like Dre Owens said, Billy Starks, victim of the week. Is that the case, do you think, here, Robert? Do you think they're going to move on?
I think because of that promo, I think the idea is we're going somewhere with her. Harley Cameron, unfortunately, vanished into, she's like holograms, girl.
Yes. Harley Graham. Harley
Graham. Whatever. What did I say?
You were close.
I was close. You know what it is? There's like a dude fishing on the other side of the lake behind me. It's very distracting.
Are you in like a David Lynch film or something? That seems like something that would be.
Yes, this is. I'm very much in a David Lynch film right now. There's a little bit of magic in the air. And guys, speaking of magic, I want to talk to you about our friends at Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon makes high protein, zero sugar cereal and treats reinvented from your childhood. You can literally taste the nostalgia. It's also launching a brand new, because you got me Lynch in my brain. Yes, lynching. It's the Magic Spoon is also launching a brand new high protein granola. True to the Magic Spoon promise, it's packed with protein and it is incredibly crunchy. I'm excited about this because it has 13 grams of protein and zero added sugar. I've talked about this on the show the last little while here. I've been eating right, getting in shape, and having this granola. It comes in some amazing flavors, including dark chocolate almond, honey almond, and peanut butter. I'm a sucker for peanut butter. Literally, one of the snacks that I would do sometimes is just take a spoon and just scoop out some peanut butter from the jar. I don't need to do that here. I got this Magic Spoon granola. It's incredible. You can have it too. You get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/rumor. That's magicspoon.com/rumor, and you can get $5 off. You're not going to regret it. Unlike challenging Mercedes Moné, which a lot of women seem to be regretting because they wrestle her and then they vanish into oblivion.
Yes. Robert, we are going to be the peanut butters because I love peanut butter as well.
Can we not ever say that again?
Peanut butters. Butters.
Like yes, the butters vibe that you give is strong. Also, I see there's some folks in the chat talking about the TV show California Dreams. No. We're not indulging that California Dreams is anywhere on the level of a Saved by the Bell.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was not a good show. It was a ripoff. There was also USA High.
What?
where there was American students at an international university, and it was not good.
Welcome
Not
freshman.
very good.
Welcome freshman.
Dude, no, see that you're going a different route.
I know.
This is the straight and narrow. The Saved by the Bell clone, Saved by the Bell, the new class, California Dreams, USA High. Welcome Freshman was like a fever dream of a television show.
It really was.
If you kids don't know what this was, Nickelodeon for a short time was literally just run by ex-hippies who were still on acid trips. And they were like, let's make a show about what it's like to be a freshman in high school. But then there's an episode where the nerd Merv creates a band, Merv and the Mystery Meat, and they become a global sensation. It is the strangest, like you watch that or you watch You Can't Do That on television. You're like, how was this on children's program? Like there was no supervision.
No.
It's the same kind of vibe that I got watching the Outrunners video.
Uh-huh.
The Outrunners have kind of been the adopted mascots of a basketball team, which is great for Turner since this is all part of the Warner Discovery universe. And we want to promote March Madness because Lord knows NCAA needs that AEW Dynamite audience. Yeah.
I like it that Taz just went all in and says they're not going to win Omaha. It was just like St. John's is going to kick their
he's
ass.
a St. John's guy, so I get it. And also Taz is a heel.
I know.
Not on the TV show. In real life, Taz is a heel. I love Taz, but yeah, Taz is one of the best heels. Another great heel, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yes.
It was his birthday last week.
Yeah, that's right. Happy birthday.
I wished him a happy birthday. Told him, look, he's 1 year closer to retiring in Florida.
Hey,
I'm excited for that. We have mapped out the dream of when we retire, and you can call the wife over to bring you some fruit while you're playing canasta on the patio.
Oh my goodness.
This is the dream. Don't ruin our dream. His dream is to be the AEW champion, and in order to achieve that, he believes that he needs himself a clique.
Yes. I like it, Robert.
No, see, I don't like it because then he reminded us of the last time he had somebody in his corner. That made us think of the Adam Cole Devil storyline, which is still the worst story possibly ever. Johnny Disco asks, are we just listing short-lived Fox shows since apparently the chat has gone into its own universe? As a Taz person, one of my favorite things was when we were on SmackDown was on UPN.
Oh, yes.
And making Taz have to do segues to other fine UPN programming is still, there was nothing that cracked us up more than trying to tie what's going on in the ring. I can't do it at the moment. My throat's a little raspy to do the full-on Taz, but it was essentially, Cole, what you see in the ring is going out of control, but not like what's happening this week on Girlfriends. It was an all-time great. And you can go down to Secret Files of Desmond Pfeiffer or Homeboys in Outer Space or Shasta McNasty. UPN has an unbeatable roster of truly awful programming.
My goodness.
WB was pretty bad. Nick Freno, licensed teacher.
I don't remember any of those. I didn't get UPN or WB though, so I guess
they were on over-the-air television. I couldn't afford the rabbit ears.
Yeah, that's it. But Robert,
no, I'm just trying to delay. I'm just trying to obfuscate the stall from what's coming up next because someone just dropped a Malcolm and Eddie reference.
Oh, I don't know that one either though.
Malcolm Jamal Warner and Eddie Griffin. There was that, yes, because there was the Jamie Foxx show at that time. The Wayans brothers had a show.
Was it Everybody Hates Chris? Was that around at that point, or was that?
That was years later.
Okay, that was a good show from what I remember. Hey, speaking of.
No, there is no. I'm not making this easy for you to segue into this match.
Are we gonna have to have a street fight, Robert? Am I going to have to go behind your back and hit you with something?
So, all right. John Moxley and Cope. You want to
start?
This is I'm here for whatever it is that you want to do for
All
us.
right. I have immense thoughts on this.
I will preface this.
Okay.
So these two have been around for quite some time. Obviously, Copeland longer than Moxley, but they've been on the big stage. They've been on WrestleMania. They have been on the side of trucks. They have sold T-shirts and action figures. They are certified first ballot Hall of Famers, both.
Yes.
They had a match on a pay-per-view. It's a main event, the Revolution pay-per-view, and it did not go over well. They felt pressure that we got to step it up, we got to deliver, and we got to deliver something different and hard hitting. When Cope did this with Randy Orton, and they had the greatest wrestling match of all time, and they fought on top of a truck. It was where we're pulling out all the stops. Right. This starting with Moxley walking in from the cold, and then the two of them fighting on another truck and brawling. I'm like, okay, they clearly want to try to cleanse the palate from what we saw before, and they're going to pull out all the stops. Dom?
Well, there were some stops, all right. Lots of stops, and me thinking that this was the perfect picture of what is wrong with AEW in so many ways. I think you have the for the sicko spot when it comes to the spike in the back.
That's the only thing worth talking about.
It really is.
Granted, the finish of this was absolutely, oh no, here comes the Millionaires Club. But wait, oh no, it's the New Blood. The New Blood are here to make the save. And here come the West Texas Rednecks, and they're in there too. Oh man, where's the No Limit Soldiers?
The 3 counts there.
Yep, here comes G.I. Bro and General Rection.
The Young Dragons.
Save. Where's above average Mike Sanders?
Robert, this is horrible. I hated it. I think it was like
I love you. I love that all the years of knowing you, and now is when you take a stand of this was horrible.
It was bad. Awful. Like the visual aspect of that, them pulling that, or Wheeler Yuta attempting to pull the spike out of his back was gruesome and disgusting. There was so much crap going on after the fact, and then you just have Edge or Cope get choked the freak out. It was an awful execution of a match, and speaks to what is the overall thought process and booking philosophy of AEW. This encompassed it, and this really elevated my frustrations after the fact. Even after I watched it, I was getting more angry thinking about it afterwards.
Sorry, Wrestling Old Head just popped me by asking, is that Wheeler Yuta or Kaz Hayashi? That is a great deep cut. Yes. I appreciate that. Yes, Jeff Henninger also points out that I was mixing up Edge and Randy's last man standing match at WrestleMania with their greatest match ever match. Both absolute classics that I could clearly only watch once and not go back and revisit, because you can't revisit perfection. No. I understood the story of this match. I understood them sitting in the back and the architecture of this. And I had said, I thought all along the finish this was going to involve Jay White, that Jay White was going to be the one to cost Copeland this match. Jay White was not there. I don't know if that's because of the blizzard, they had to call an audible, or they just decided they don't want to go down that Jay White route. Who the heck knows? A lot of the decisions for the booking made sense. Hey, we're going to throw everything at this, which is you think Cope's got control? Oh no, here come the Death Riders. But oh no, here comes FTR to have their back. And here comes the patriarchy because of all the Christian stuff. Fine, overbooked, schmaz, whatever. The spike to the back. I get this is for the sickos, and we had the Hollywood ending match, and I've said I'm not a huge death match guy. There is a difference between what we saw in that and the danger that existed here. Yeah. And I saw some folks point this out online. Doctors, actually, who were wrestling fans, were like, that's the kind of spot that if it went slightly wrong, Moxley's paralyzed. Because that was not there's no way to do that safely.
You're right.
And
oh no, we lost Robert. We lost him. This was I don't know what else to say when it comes to this match. Like, yeah, there he goes. Good, Robert will kill. Sorry, we lost you, Robert.
Yeah, I was saying I was talking, and then all
You
of
were
a
freezing
sudden,
up a little bit, so start again where you were going off on there.
I don't know where I was going off. You have to remind me of where I was at.
Okay, so you were discussing how the spot was, and doctors were chiming in about the spike spot.
Oh yeah, if it went slightly more wrong than it did, he could have been paralyzed. And the general rule with these spots is if you can't do it safely, don't do it.
Right.
And that's kind of what we saw happen here. We saw a dangerous spot that you could have done it slightly safer. You could have still just done the spikes to the back. He hits him with it. Moxley's rolling around screaming. But to stick it into him was really uncomfortable to watch. And then trying to yank it out of him was gruesome in a way that was not remotely safe. Or for my own personal thing, it wasn't entertaining for me. I would not have been thrilled if my kids were in the room and saw this, but it was a guy who was just kind of reeking of desperation to try to make a moment.
And you know what? I think it just overshadowed what was a pretty good overall Dynamite and execution otherwise. Like,
Devin Dowling has a point here. He said the spike was worse than Tony Storm and Mariah's glass spot. Yes, I don't love glass spots. Glass spots are bad, but there's generally a different degree of injury risk than there was with this. This definitely was.
Oh, Robert, we're losing again.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. I've got full bars.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening.
It's that damn Tony Khan. He's trying to silence me.
He doesn't want you to speak on this, Robert. I can't blame him though, because no, I think this whole thing just really downplayed what is troublesome about AEW. What I mentioned Mark Davis before in that opening match and how big of a highlight he was. And there's not going to be a good follow up with him. There won't be a good follow up with Billy Starks. There won't be a good follow up. There wasn't. I mean, this could speak to just Jay White not being there, but there wasn't even a good follow up to that. So I think it just, and then the focus is on the schmaz and the gruesomeness and all this stuff. And everybody's talking about this. I made that picture, our main picture, the back spot, because that's what we're talking about. And I think it just takes away so much of what AEW is doing wrong, and it really frustrated me.
It did, and then the ending of Dax not taking the handshake. Well, if that was the finish you were going with, you didn't need the spike spot.
No, you did not at all.
Totally unnecessary. As was Will Ospreay versus AR Fox.
Yeah. I'll be forthright. I heard that it was an underwhelming match. I skipped through it. I didn't even watch it. So
it was an underwhelming match. It was there to just kind of let Ospreay remind people that he's going to be in the Owen. And then Hangman cut a promo where he's just like, "Hey, I'm going to be in the Owen."
Yeah.
It's fine to have an Ospreay match, but this just felt like you could totally skip through this.
What did you think? What Hangman had to say in furthering the story with him, Swerve, and MJF in that regard? Did you like what he had to say there?
Yeah, I like that he reminded people, "Hey, I'm still involved in a storyline. There's still ramifications and consequences to what happened with me and Swerve. There's still issues with me and Max, but at the same time, I want to be champion and I'm going to enter the Owen. But I'm not forgetting all the stuff that I'm involved in." That made sense, and the main event of this show made sense. The Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander was a good physical match. They're clearly turning Megan Bayne into Brock Lesnar. Her and Tony Storm had some great, interactions at the end. Megan Bayne is somebody special and somebody that, let's push it and see what happens.
Right. No, I think we were talking about that, a concern of who will be next for Tony Storm after Mariah May, and they found somebody in Megan Bayne. And so she gets a definitive win against Statlander, who's very talented. So, yeah, I think it makes sense. But, yeah, it's just all about the follow-up and everything, Robert. C. Foster chimed in here, too, and said, it'll be forgotten by the end of the week. And isn't that the frustrating aspect of it all? Like, it's so stupid that people will just move on from it, and you will be thinking about something else of what next AEW might not do well at.
It's insane
Mm-hmm.
that you would have this moment. Yeah, it'll be forgotten in a week's time because you're moving on to Moxley and Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
This put a definitive end to the Copeland storyline.
Right.
And like a lot of the times at AEW, we wind up spending a lot more time talking about a goofy spot or uncomfortable moment rather than your overarching storyline. And they are getting to some good stories going forward. We just kind of need to weather through a lot of the bad, which used to be WWE's racket for a long time. You'd
Yeah.
get some good stuff, but at the top of the card, you're dealing with, Big Show and tranquilizer darts.
And this was the alternative we were looking for with AEW to counteract what WWE was doing, and now they're just doing the exact same thing, where it's so much frustration that comes into the aspect of their overall product. And yeah, we got to look for these embers of hope throughout the whole television show, and we get them. But there's also this thing that just okay, I don't think anything's going to change. There's no sign of things ultimately changing overall. It seems.
Well, something that doesn't change is Rumor and Innuendo being here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern. We're on a plethora of platforms, Dom. I don't know if you're aware of that, including the
Oh, yeah.
WW Creative _ ISH X account, the at SE Scoops X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account on YouTube, on Rumor and Innuendo, ad-free shows, and Working Stiff. Dom, another hell of a show, even as my Wi-Fi slowly decides not to cooperate. So on behalf of the man who thankfully, yet foolishly, did not pick the Florida Gators, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Hey, go Gators, but don't go Gators, so Robert can win.